The morning's on 2. It's 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. It was Super Bowl Sunday in 1986 when Patricia Rausch's two girls were kidnapped by their father and whisked away to Saudi Arabia. They were 7 and 3 at the time. Today, 11 years later, Rausch continues to fight for their return. She joins me this morning. Nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
When was the last time you saw your daughters?
I was able to see my daughters in June 1995 for 2 hours after they were stolen from me in 1986, and I tried everything to get my daughters home, including full diplomatic channels, letters to President Reagan. 54 U.S. senators signed a letter to the Saudi king. No one was able to help me. I've had 3 mercenary attempts to try to rescue the girls. 2 men were killed trying to rescue the girls, and I was able to see them through the efforts of U.S. Ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Raymond Mabus, June 13th.
We will talk about all this.
Yeah.
Let me just, so some of the pictures we're looking at right now, this is before they were kidnapped.
Yes, that was in Chicago just before they were kidnapped.
7 and 3.5 years old.
Yes.
Today they're 18 and 14. When you visited them, and you spent that 2 hours, you know, in Saudi Arabia, women have to be completely covered or wear the veil. Were the girls like that?
The girls came to me in the room where I was going to see them in full Saudi black veils. Their faces were covered, and they were covered in black from head to toe. And when they came into the room, they stood there and they took off the veils. And I didn't recognize them because I hadn't seen them for so long. It was a very big shock to me.
Here they are with their father. It looks like soon after they arrived in Saudi Arabia. What do they think has happened? What did they tell you when they saw you? Did you abandon them, or did their father take them, or what?
Well, I had only limited amount of time to talk to them, and before we were interrupted and they were taken away. So I told them that, you know, I tried to be with you all these years. And Alia said, I know. My oldest daughter said, I know. And my youngest daughter doesn't speak English, and my oldest daughter said, I want to come back with you to the United States. I miss you. I love you so much. And my youngest daughter put her arms around me and wouldn't let me go.
I assume the Saudi Arabia government doesn't think you have any right to the children. The girls were born in this country.
They were born in California and San Francisco, and I was the sole caregiver of the girls all these years, and he came and took them after I divorced them. And the girls are incommunicado with the whole Western world. They're behind closed doors. They have no visitors come to see them. Most of the people in America don't understand what it's like to live in Saudi Arabia as a woman. They have no rights. They're totally controlled by their father. They can never leave Saudi Arabia, even if they're 90 years old. They must be signed out by a male member of the family before they're allowed to get an exit visa.
Even when you were over there and after seeing the girls and you wanted to leave, did he have to give permission for you to leave the country?
Yes, he did. As an American wife of a Saudi, I had to get permission from my husband for him to sign my exit visa.
Since they are U.S. citizens, I would imagine the U.S. government has done everything within their power to get these two girls out.
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, the U.S. government has thwarted every effort I've tried to get my girls out.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. It's partially it's people that are uninformed. It's partially the only person who ever did help me was Alan Dixon of Illinois, Senator Alan Dixon, and then Ambassador Mabus, who really tried, and he got very far.
You said they had actually, Ambassador Mabus, who was the former governor of Mississippi,
yes,
then an ambassador
good friend
to Saudi
of the
Arabia,
president,
said that they almost had a negotiated settlement with your former husband and on the girl, and then he retired?
What happened was he had been to the Saudi princes, he'd been to the crown prince, he was holding up the visas to my ex-husband's family. Never before done, very unorthodox, very un-State Department.
So the pressure was put on your former husband's family.
And then, yes, and on the crown prince Abdullah, by Ambassador Mabus. Ambassador Mabus had to resign last May due to personal decisions.
So the new ambassador
dropped the ball, never picked it up. The new ambassador is also a political appointee, a senator from Georgia.
We saw a picture on the front page of the paper yesterday of you talking to Willie Brown as he's walking down the street. Do you think you're going to get any help from the mayor?
I doubt it. I would hope the mayor would do this as a powerful Democrat. I would hope that he would pick up the phone and call his good friend Bill Clinton. Because what do you think would happen if Bill Clinton called the Saudi ambassador, called the crown prince and said, look, I just want these 2 kids to come home. They're 18 and 15 right now. What do you think, Mr. Ambassador? Could you let the kids come home? I think they'd be home in a heartbeat, don't you?
Probably. You have any idea how much money you've spent on this?
I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in trying to rescue my girls.
As you mentioned earlier, you've hired mercenaries. You tried to have them kidnapped.
2 men were killed trying to rescue my daughters. It doesn't get much more desperate than that, does it?
So what's your next move?
My next move is trying to pressure legislators to try to make this happen. I've asked Ambassador Mabus to please go back to the White House to Mac McLarty. He's taken a letter to President Clinton for me December 19th. He's talked to Clinton about it. I'm trying to get in to see Mac McLarty and trying to pressure Senator Feinstein and Mrs. Pelosi to try to help me get to the Foreign Relations Committee.
If you'd like to help Patricia, here is a phone number. This is her attorney, Michael Wilds from Wilds and Weinberg. It's area code 212-753-6085. And keep us apprised of this, will you?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patricia. Time now, 25 minutes after 8. More in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Ponce estate when he was shot to death in 1993.
Time now is 7:18. For 11 years, a Bay Area woman has tried to get her abducted daughters out of Saudi Arabia. Today, she takes her quest to Capitol Hill. Mark Curtis has more on the story from the Washington, D.C. Bureau. Good morning, Mark.
Ross, good morning from Capitol Hill. Indeed, this morning, Patricia Rausch, she's the Bay Area woman we're talking about, an attorney, confirmed to us that they are mulling over a diplomatic offer of sorts that's being worked out between the U.S. State Department and the Saudi Arabian embassy so that she could once again see her daughters. But they fear that this would be a very short, very brief visit and is only being offered to quell all the bad publicity against Saudi Arabia this case is generating. They hope these steps are steps of progress. Patricia Rausch and her attorney Michael Wilds are back in Washington, fighting in Congress and the State Department for her two daughters. 11 years ago, daughters Aisha and Aliyah were kidnapped by their father, a Saudi national and Patricia's estranged husband. In those 11 years, Patricia has only had one 2-hour visit with the girls.
Visitation with my daughters in Saudi Arabia is like going to see two creatures that are condemned to death, two creatures that are on death row. Living in Saudi Arabia, they have absolutely nothing to look forward to. For me to go there and see them under the extreme conditions that they're living with, under no rights at all.
Now, in the past few days, Rausch has been offered a second visit with her daughters, but the terms remain unclear. Her attorney says money and politics are preventing a permanent return of the two girls.
The American and Saudi governments have bargained our American citizen daughters for oil and military installations.
And to know that they can never leave and that they know that I'm going to be able to leave, it's torturous for all three of us. It's not even human.
And Ross, we have made attempts to contact the Saudi Arabian embassy here in Washington for comment. They have declined to return our calls or make any comment. Incidentally, Patricia Rausch shortly and her attorney will be heading to the offices of Senator Boxer and Feinstein, also Jesse Helms, who heads the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. There is much urgency to this matter now because her oldest daughter, Aliyah, is 18. Patricia fears that her daughter is going to be married off, as is often the custom in Saudi Arabia, and that she may never see that daughter again. That is the latest on a situation here in Washington. I'm Mark Curtis, Morning Sun 2. Ross?
All right, thank you, Mark. Time now is 7:20. Still ahead.
What caused the power outage?
There may be some hope today in the case of a Bay Area mother trying to get her two daughters back. Their father abducted them 11 years ago, and ever since then, they've been living together in Saudi Arabia. Today, their mother is in Washington meeting with some political heavyweights trying to get them to take some action. And Mark Curtis joins us live now from the nation's capital with more. Afternoon, Mark.
Frank and Troy, good afternoon from Washington. We had a very tearful, emotional news conference that's just ended a short time ago on the lawn of the U.S. Capitol. Patricia Rausch, she is pleading with U.S. officials to do something to end her 11-year nightmare. She wants Congress, the State Department, or some combination of federal agencies to intervene and bring her daughters home from Saudi Arabia. In the shadows of the Capitol, under the glare of TV lights, Patricia Rausch gets the notoriety she would rather avoid. But 11 years ago, her daughters Aisha and Aliyah were kidnapped by their father, who took them to his native Saudi Arabia, cutting them off from their mother.
What they have done is against all of God's laws. My friends, my family, and I have suffered enough. A broken heart still beats. Let my children go.
Rausch is left with Mother's Day mementos over a decade old. But she and her attorney are determined to bring the girls back home.
What is U.S. citizenship worth? I am holding 2 passports of 2 American girls that were abducted 11 years ago taken forcibly from their mother